Hello friends, welcome to Edus Godan. On today's video, we are going to discuss about the common doubts on the aquatic plants. We have many doubts on the aquatic plants. How they does the life processes like respiration, how they does the photosynthesis, how they absorb water, how they absorb minerals, how do they reproduce, how do they pollinate, how do they float on the water, some of the floating plants, how do they float on the water, etc. These are the common doubts in us. On this video we are going to see the answers of these doubts. If you have any doubt like this, you can post it in the comment section. And then these plants are made up of complex parts. And then aquatic plants are the plants that live in the water source, that is ocean, any water source like river, etc. These are also known as hydrophytes. The ocean plants are too mysterious. They are the first plant that evolved on the earth. They evolved before 3 billion years ago. That's the algae. Algae is the first plant in the planet Earth. The traces of algae had been found before 3 billion years ago. The ocean plants are too mysterious, as I told in the before sentences. Now let us see the answers for these doubts. Doubt number 1. How do these organisms handle respiration? This is a big doubt in us. The CO2 which is dissolved can be taken in for the photosynthesis. But what did they do for oxygen? What do they do for oxygen? All the plants which float cannot take the oxygen as dissolved state. They absorb the oxygen from the outer environment. The upper leaves which are floating alone have the stomata. The inner leaves are yellow colored and do not contain chlorophyll. And these the floating leaves are greenish and have the stoma to absorb the sunlight. And the underwater plants absorb the dissolved oxygen, dissolved 60% of oxygen in the underwater. And then doubt number 2. How do these plants pollinate? These plants does the pollination by the water, and this is also too rare, as there are only 2% of hydrophilic pollens. So happening of this is also too rare. And then how do they reproduce? If only 2% of the pollination happens, how do they reproduce? And these, how can it multiple? And it will extend as fast as it can, so that this handles a superior way by which this no need a sexual method for the reproduction. This handles a sexual way known as budding, fragments, turions, and rhizomes. These are the methods these plants follow. Budding is the most handled method in this. And then doubt number 3. How aquatic plant does the photosynthesis? These plants absorb water and CO2 in the water, but it is too hard for the sunlight to go in. Then how these plants absorb sunlight fast and then more? These plants absorb sunlight more by the process of osmosis. When osmosis happens, these stomata are fully open. As in water, osmosis can happen fastly. These are always open and helps for the absorption of sunlight. Sunlight which passes through the water is alone absorbed by these plants, and this is also done by the osmosis. Then doubt number 4. How do these plants absorb the minerals and nutrients? This is a big doubt among us, and this is the big challenge for the plants to absorb the minerals and nutrients by which they grow and starts flowering. These plants absorb nutrients from the water, but only dissolved nutrients can be absorbed by these plants. Some of the dissolved nutrients are macronutrients like calcium, magnesium and sulfur, and in micronutrients boron can be absorbed from water. For the other nutrients, this must be depend on the water, sea floor and the river floor to obtain the other nutrients. Doubt number 5: how do how do floating plants in the aquatic region float with big flowers and big seeds? This is also a doubt in us. These plants have a different tissue called parenchyma, by which these plants float, and this tissue is consists only of air spaces. Most of the land plants do not have this. Only the aquatic plants are consist of this. This helps them to float on the water. These only consist of the air space and helps them to float. You can see the you can see the magnified structure of the parenchyma in the above pictures. These are found in the stems, leaves, and then the seeds, etc. Okay, friends, I think your doubts about the aquatic plants had been cleared. If any more doubts, you can add in the comment section. Okay, friends, I will add my contact number in the description of this video, so that if any doubt, you can WhatsApp or you can message me in the WhatsApp. Okay, friends, bye. Let us see in the next video. So till then, bye bye, tata.